Hi, folks. It's Dr. Christine and Maxine with your Sunday sofa chat book club. I'm still here in the closet like last time, but I decided to take a mental travel to the Caribbean and at the beach.
Christine, you're not allowed to travel.
Well, in my mind with the background, I'm still
Now
in the closet in the house.
now you're making everybody jealous. I want the sun, the sand, and the beach, and the trees, and all of that too.
It's just relaxing just to look at myself, sometimes in Zoom.
Yeah.
Today, we want to talk about chapter 2 of Letting Go by the famous Dr. David Hawkins. And chapter 2 is all about the mechanism of letting go. Now, last time we talked about how actually to do it. And the basics are, and I can't repeat it often enough because we should all do it every day, that you find out why you're upset, why you're having a negative emotion, why are you afraid? And you think, oh, it's because of the virus. And then you go deeper and said, so why would the virus make me afraid? So then you go deeper and say, because I don't want to die. So you're afraid of dying. So why are you afraid of dying? And so on and so on. And every time when you feel the feeling of fear, you just sit with it lovingly and let it be.
You witness it, you watch it.
You watch it, you witness it.
Yes.
You just let it come and go and it will disappear. And he compares it with the same feeling that you would have with a little baby on your arm, and you look at it and you love it. Same way, love yourself. Love your negative feeling until it disappears.
Right.
And repeat, rinse and repeat. Every time the feeling goes away, imagine a situation where it's even worse. And do the same.
Yes. Exactly.
I feel calmer already. Now, Dr. David Hawkins is one of the foremost thinkers on consciousness of the 20th and 21st centuries. He died in 2012, sadly. I would have loved to meet him. And he said basically what all famous and great people always said. It's not the thoughts or the facts that are painful, but the feelings that accompany them.
Yes.
Now, isn't
And
it
what
true?
you associate those with. Exactly true.
So it's not, the thoughts come and go. And my mentor, Dr. Daniel Amen, always said, don't believe every stupid thought that goes through your head. And I like that, because every feeling, says Dr. Hawkins, has thousands of thoughts behind it. And they are just useless. Don't focus on them.
Yes, because what you focus on is what you make your reality.
That is true.
Absolutely true.
Now, what do we do with the feelings? Now, usually he talks about 3 major ways of handling feelings: suppression or repression, expression, and escape. There is really the 4th one that he advocates, letting go.
Well, Christine, you've just escaped. Beach.
Yeah. Escape in that way is more when you go in a room, you don't want to be with yourself, you flick on the TV and let it run all day, so you have something that distracts you from yourself. And who does do it? Who doesn't do it? Let's start with the back. The escape thing is really the backbone of the entertainment industry, he says. And he's right. Because how do people escape? What do you think, Maxine?
Well, they escape into all different kinds of things, some good, some not so good, because they want to go out of their mind. They don't want to sit with what's going on within their mind, right? And so there are all kinds of distractions. There are movies, there's art, there's music, there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's sex, there's
food.
Food is a biggie. Yeah. So it
There's
suppresses
gambling.
those feelings. Absolutely. The feelings that are within you that you've not dealt with, that if we're quiet, they bubble up to the surface and we go whoops, woof, and push them down with something.
And that is important because most of what we do on social media is distraction, is escapism.
Yes.
Because instead of calmly doing something that we are passionate about, we are letting social media pull us in, and we escape for hours into the world of somebody else.
Yes. Yes.
So we try to be the antidote to that, by leading people back to focusing on yourself. Now let's talk about suppression and repression. And we all do it when we are afraid of a feeling. We don't want to feel it. We push it down. We push it down. We push it, push it, push it until we don't no longer feel it.
Right. Right.
And if it's too bad, we don't even want to know that we push it away. We do it unconsciously.
And that's the repressed feeling.
That's a repressed one. And one of the mechanisms, he says, used by the mind to keep the feeling repressed are denials and projection. And they tend to go together and reinforce each other. So instead of feeling a feeling, we project it on the world of those around us.
And you know what, Christine? One of the biggest applications of that is how it plays out in relationships. Right?
Yeah.
So you deny when somebody's telling you something about you that you do not want to face. It's a denial. And then we project it onto that other person or those other people. It's not me, it's you.
It's them. It's the enemy. It's the war makers. It is the other party. It is the certain food. It is a certain thing in the world. It's never you or me.
Right.
So my wife makes me angry. My wife makes me hit her. No, you are angry inside. And so you're surrounded by angry people, angry animals.
Yes. And then you project.
Yeah.
And then you become the victim and you have to have somebody to blame. And that's what happens. Right.
So if you're angry inside, you experience the world as angry. If you're fearful inside, you experience the world as scary. Oh my God, COVID-19 will kill us all. I'm so scared. Yeah. No, you were scared before. And it's time to let go of the fear, of the aggression, and all of that. So that is really dangerous, all that denial and projection, because we do it on a society level too.
Absolutely.
It's not Canada, it's China, it's not the US, it's the Russians or whatever.
And then we become totally vulnerable to manipulation. Puts us all in a very dangerous position.
Yeah, and the media are really good in that. We try to escape, flick on the TV, and end up in denial and projection and being sucked in what the media tells us.
Yeah.
And many people, most people are desperate to stay unconscious. I know people that have TV running all day, and even when I don't name names, when I do Tai Chi with them, the TV has to run. And I say, switch it off. No, she said. And I said,
While,
why?
while she's doing Tai Chi?
Yes. And I say, why can't you switch it off? Oh, it makes me feel calm. There
Oh,
you go.
mm,
It's afraid of your own self.
yeah, yeah.
Many people, when they go to bed, they dread being alone. They still watch TV or they text on their phone.
I know. It's very true. I know people like that as well. Yes.
And
Yes.
it is hard when you are lonely. It is a very uncomfortable feeling.
Yes. Yes.
And
And here's the other thing you know about loneliness.
Mhm.
You can be alone within a crowd
Right?
because of the very fact that you have these unresolved issues within yourself that you've either repressed or suppressed,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not able to deal with those. So again, that makes us vulnerable to becoming a victim and projecting those negative feelings that we have deep down inside on somebody else without taking personal responsibility for our own lives.
And we are never a total victim. Yes, if you're the victim of a crime, you are a victim. But after the crime has happened, if you hopefully survive it, it's up to you how you live the rest of your life. Will you stay victimized for the rest of your life? Or will you go the very hard way of healing yourself?
Yeah,
You will need help when the trauma is too bad.
that's true. That's
But it
true.
is possible. It is tough. Life is not supposed to be easy all the time. It can be very
Well,
tough.
you know what though, Christine, I look at it this way.
Mhm.
Life is not easy or difficult. It's what we perceive it to be.
Yes,
We create that, right? It's the same thing that Dr. Hawkins is talking about. It's our projection of the feelings that we have inside that are unresolved, repressed, suppressed, whatever.
right.
And so we create our own reality. And that's the bad news and the good news, because then, as the good news, we can adjust our thinking and create a beautiful reality.
And it's very interesting because what came in my mind? Uh, we create what is around us, as you said, and then we have to take responsibility. We are no longer the victim,
That's
and
that's
sometimes it's nice to be the victim and let others do for you, and let others do the thinking for you. Let others live your life for you.
But what happens? What happens then?
You get
Repressed
quick.
feelings, suppressed feelings that you are being controlled, and you get aggravated, and you then act out in a what is the word I'm trying to think of? That passive aggressive. You
Either
become
that
passive aggressive
or
with
active aggressive, yeah. And that is something else we have to talk about, expression, because some people still think that if you're angry, it is good to express that feeling. But science and research, and Dr. Hawkins cites those too, have shown over and over again that this is not true. If you express a feeling, it gives it more strength.
Mhm.
So if we dump our negative feelings on others, if we blow up on others, they have to deal with that attack
True.
depending on how they are in their energy level and their consciousness level, more or less easy. You can hurt them. As you said, words can deeply hurt.
Yeah, yes, yeah. You and I had this very interesting discussion the other day about that, right? And I was saying about sticks and stones can break your bones, but
Mhm.
names will never hurt you, and how untrue that is. That words can go right to your very core, and they can paralyze you, or they can make you elated.
That's right.
Sometimes we have to take responsibility about how we speak to somebody. The truth is wonderful, but there are different ways of saying the truth without devastating another person.
Mhm. Yeah, we said an example with the virus. I could tell you, Maxine, you'll die. You're dying. It's a truth,
Yeah,
but it is not nice to say to somebody who's afraid.
But guess what? But I think it's even the conversation you and I were having was we were talking about my granddaughter in New Jersey, and she's right. My family's right in the midst of that, and I was worried for her, and you had said to me, "Well, she's going to die," meaning what you meant was we're all going to die, and she'll die, and whatever. You don't need to fear death. But what happened was I wasn't insulted, but I was hurt because it was like, I mean, I get that, but do you have to say it in that way? Because it could have been, oh gosh.
It was too provocative, and I see that.
Yeah, and you know what? And so you and I had this wonderful conversation about that, about misunderstanding somebody's words or intention. Now I know you, I love you, you're my sister. So I didn't take it in an insulting way. But if we were strangers, and I
wouldn't have said it because I know better.
I would be like, oh my God, like that.
That's the thing. As German heritage, Germans tend to be blunt. And many North Americans take it the wrong way. They think it's meant rude or hurtful, and it's often not meant. So if you feel a feeling from somebody, think about what's the energy level they express.
You know what?
Is it still loving, or is it really angry? Do I say to you, Maxine, you'll die and I'll kill you right now? No, that would be brutal.
No.
Or would I say, Maxine, I'm sorry, we all die. That's just a fact of life.
Yeah, you see the difference in the tone, and then so that it's all about energy. Expressions are energy, aren't they? And so
every human being has an energy with them.
Right, exactly. And it's and you are the receiver of that message. And so our responsibility as individuals too, as you were saying, is to think before we speak about how that's going to impact another person. And that doesn't matter whether it's you and me, whether it's a stranger in the street, our children, or our spouses, our family. It's the same thing, but we forget, and then it comes out, and you can't take words back.
And
when they're out there, they're out there.
And I think the think is an acronym by itself, because if you think before you speak, the T, is it thoughtful? Is it hurtful? You better swallow it. I is for, is it
inspiring?
Inspiring. And think, is it, I don't know. And the T is it true? Yes. And K, is it kind?
Yes, true.
And always be kind to each other, because even somebody that comes over as rude may not be rude in the core of their being, or somebody that blows up at you may be at his heart a very kind person that has a bad day.
Sure. And it's like the song goes, walk a mile in my shoes. You know, you don't know what it's like, what I'm going through. And so therefore, be kind. Be kind.
Be kind. And I like that Dr. Hawkins quotes Jesus. He said, why do you see the splinter which is in your brother's eye and do not feel the beam which is in your own eye?
Exactly.
Quote from the Bible, Matthew 7:3.
Yeah.
All the great masters point us within and to the energy.
Because you are the only one who knows how you feel.
Right.
And so the person you need to get to know the most is you. Right. For your own betterment, for your own health, both physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Because the answers do lie within. You know, it's very, very true.
And to come back on the fact that we are all going to die one day, and nobody knows which day. It could be right now, in 10 seconds, I keel over and dead. It could be, I am fortunately love to live another 40, 50 years. I don't know.
Right.
And maybe it's good that I don't, because the old Latin philosophers said, memento mori. Live every day with the knowledge that you're going to die. That means, in my opinion, that looking back from your deathbed, what do you want to be able to say about your life? Do you want to say, I wish I had done that. I wish I had done that. I wish I had told them that I love them before they died. I wish I had sent them a letter. I wish I had called them. I wish I had taken that risk and tried that I never did. I wish I had left that abusive husband and lived my life. I wished I had taken responsibility for my life while it was still time.
Yes, exactly
I
true.
talk to dying people, and it's sad when somebody has regrets like that.
Do you know how my father died at age 94?
No.
He was in the hospital, but he'd had bladder cancer, and they successfully had removed everything, but he was in the hospital. And a nurse was walking down the hall, and she said, "Who left the radio on?" It was my father at the top of his lungs singing his heart out. And within a day or so, he closed his eyes and he just passed on. And my brother was there, my brother Sean, and he said it was the most beautiful thing. That's how he'd like to go. I said, me too. So it was wonderful. He lived his life to the last moment,
And
doing
at
what
one
made
point we
his
have
heart
to,
sing.
it is wonderful. And at one point we have to make a show about death and dying
We should.
and the stages of acceptance, because it's so, so, so important.
Yeah.
But the chapter 2 is really a really big chapter. He even talks about the essential cause of stress. It's not the outside that pushes the stress on you. It's what you make about it, how you feel about it.
It's all about your feelings.
It's all about your feelings.
Exactly.
And the real source of stress is actually internal. It's not external, how most people want to like to believe.
And you know, Christine, in many cultures, and I'm not excluding ours here, you're taught not to express your feelings, especially males. Women, it's a little easier with, but then, you know, women are taken as weak if they cry and whatever. Well, men are much even more so. But expression of feelings is a good thing. It's a catharsis. It's a release.
Now, we talked about that before. Not necessarily. It gives the feeling more strength. The real expression is not a solution to feelings. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay, especially if it's a positive feeling.
Right, but that's not how we're taught.
A negative feeling is better let go without express it to others.
Yeah, yeah. It's
That's what
important.
Dr. Hawkins said.
It's important to say, because usually what happens in most instances, in most relationships, whatever they would be, it's the communication is not there. There's a misunderstanding.
Right.
People don't talk about it, and they harbor that. It's repressed, suppressed,
Yeah.
and then it comes out in all of these trajections.
Like a volcano erupting, the anger comes out, and then we say, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, never, never, never. There are always signs, but we're not aware of those.
We don't feel those little tremors before the eruption. We don't have the seismograph that we put on real volcanoes. We should put it on our relationships.
So one of the most important things we can do, I believe, and there are a lot of people who would back me up on this, actually, is listen. Pay attention. Don't just hear. Listen, and listen with your heart. You know, what is this person trying to say to me? Make it safe.
Yeah.
So they don't
remember. Yeah. Sorry. Most of my life.
They're able to express.
Yeah. Most of my life, I listened, and while I listened, I thought about what to say. Because as a doctor in Germany, I had 5 minutes per patient. So if they told their story, in my mind, I synthesized it, made the diagnosis, the therapy, and I talked to them.
Yeah.
I had to relearn how to listen without already making my story up how I wanted to reply. And it's tough. Many, many people still do it.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult to do. But the thing is, you know what? The more we talk about it, the more we become aware of it, it's much more difficult to go back to that MO, because, you know, as you're saying, you realize, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this or say this because, blah, blah, blah. But depending upon the mood we're in, if we're very angry, we might say, bugger all, I'm just going to say it anyway. You know, that's not nice. That's not being kind. We're human. Okay, we all make these faux pas.
We all make mistakes.
Yeah, but let's try, especially under these extenuating circumstances that we're in at the moment, to be kind,
Be
to
kind.
give somebody a smile. How are you today? Everything okay? You
A
know?
smile is the cheapest gift you can give to everyone.
And the greatest.
And the greatest, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe not in every situation. Some people really need a sandwich.
No, I don't. I
But a
disagree.
sandwich with a smile is worth so much more.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not talking about being disciplined or whatever.
Mm.
What I'm saying is, we all can use kindness no matter what. And there are some people, all they know is how to react in anger. They've never had anybody be kind, considerate, or understanding.
And it's important that we all learn how to express our feelings appropriately.
Yes. And
I had to learn it when I came to Canada. I did not know the word assertiveness. In German, you are either submissive or aggressive.
yeah.
I was submissive or doormat. I learned to be assertive. That means to express your feelings in appropriate ways. So if I'm angry, I will tell you, listen, that really upset me. I won't holler at you and hit you on the head, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the difference.
And people often will say aggressive when they mean assertive. There's a big difference. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? And speaking of feelings, when I was living in India, I wrote a poem called Feelings Defined. And it came to me, and what I thought as what I had to do was put a feeling towards every letter of the word feeling. So it came out to be, it was an acronym, right? For feeling.
Just share the screen with it.
Yeah. And I'll explain how.
You explain. Please talk about it.
Okay, sure. So feelings defined. F, fluid. Feelings are fluid, they flow. E, feelings, emotions. Feelings are emotional, up and down and highs and lows. The other E, expressed. They're expressive. The feelings are expressive. L,
Yeah.
longingly.
Wow.
Usually behind a feeling, there's a longing to communicate, to tell somebody something or to share something. And then I for inside, going inside. And those feelings come from the inside out. Now, this is the interesting one, N. I was thinking, what word can I associate about feelings that starts with the letter N? Out of the blue, into my mind, I promise this is true, the name Nona came, Nona. I said, Nona? So I wrote it, Nonas, like that. Now, what had happened was, I looked it up afterwards. Nona was a goddess of fertility. She gave birth. So this is N is giving birth to those feelings that are deep within you that come out. We give birth to them. Now, isn't that wild?
Yeah.
What happened? I was like, oh my God. So now G, gut. Right feeling, your gut. You listen to your intuition because you can never go wrong if you deal with feelings that come from your gut. And S, space. Give your feelings room to grow and expand. The good ones, that is. Those that are negative, reduce that space. Squish them, squish them.
No, don't squish them. Release them in the universe.
Well, I know, but no, here's what I do. No, here's what I did. I squished them into a little ball, and then it went bing.
Okay.
Get rid of them.
Everybody has a different image.
Yeah, I know what I'm explaining, like how this was happening with me, is that I used the negative ones to a size that I could just eliminate. And the positive feelings, the feelings of wonder and love and and caring about people, I increase that space. That's how it came. Feelings, fluid, emotions. Oops, sorry.
I just, oh, you need it
Yeah,
again?
I just wanted to do one more time, go down it.
Sure. Let me share again. Sorry, I did it too early.
Yeah. So they're fluid, emotions expressed, love, longingly inside, known as gut space. Inside, known as gut space. Give birth.
Yeah. And many people, when they are fearful or upset, what happens? Their gut reaction is they get the diarrhea and go to the toilet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very true.
And
Yeah.
chapter 2 is really big. He actually talks about the vibrational energy state that everybody transmits to the universe. It's not limited by space, and it's not limited by the monitor on the computer. So if I give you positive energy,
And it's fluid, it flows.
it flows to you. And never mind my fingers disappearing sometimes, that's the background. But it's really love promotes love.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's important that many people say, oh, letting go doesn't work. If you are afraid of it, you might resist it and say it doesn't work. Just try it. It does work. I didn't do it for the longest time because I thought humbug. But it works. Because as Dr. Hawkins says, the thoughts or external events are only an excuse made up by the mind.
Exactly. And that's the good news, guys.
Yeah. And like Buddha said, and all the big masters said, let go of attachments. We can enjoy a thing, but we don't need it for our happiness. And that applies for people too, and for ourselves. Our biggest attachment is our body. And we have to let that go someday. And that is the scariest thought for many of all. And that's why the pandemic is so scary.
Yeah, we're
Because
attached
we know.
to the physical body and we think this is it, this is
Yes.
who we are, but it isn't who we are.
The beauty industry plays with it.
We're renting it while we're here. Yeah.
Yeah, we are using it as a schoolhouse for the mind.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. True.
So I really like that a lot. And also I like his images. Thoughts are like goldfish in a bowl. The real self is like the water. The real self is the space between the thoughts, or more exactly, the field of silent awareness underneath all thoughts. And I remember Wayne Dyer called it the gap. Same thing. And he said also, thoughts are like bait to a fish. If we bite at them, we get caught. It's best not to bite at thoughts. We don't.
Boy, that's true.
Just let them go. Wow. That's powerful. Have a wonderful day, and we'll say namaste. Namaste means we are honoring this God spark in you.
Absolutely.
And it's beautiful. Namaste. Bye-bye.